Welcome back, Shalloners. Today we're going to talk about Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green and Machine Gun Kelly. There are just so many names. There's 8 names going on. Machine, Brian, Kelly, Green, Megan again, Fox again. It's hard to keep track of. So if I bungle the names in this weird love triangle, forgive me. We're going to talk about what's going on behind the scenes, stuff that I know from personally working with Megan a few years ago, some clues about her personality that I saw that I'm pretty sure have panned out. And most importantly, what we can learn from this, namely how to have a healthy fling after a long-term relationship. Because last time we talked about Ashley Benson, Cara Delevingne, and G-Eazy, and how I believe Ashley's heading for a bit of a heartbreak with young Gerald because I don't think she's over Cara. And we talked about red flags that a rebound is going to go super badly, how to prepare for the emotional fallout, and how to get over that. So go ahead and check that video out. Today, we're going to talk about why Megan kind of is doing things right. But before we get started, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support and the help with the whole blackmail situation. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's like I've got the problems of a celebrity, but I'm not at like the Met Gala. So it's like, this is a really annoying sort of overlap of Venn diagram situations, but you guys have been just so wonderful and so helpful. I really appreciate it. My lawyers are on the case. Local police where she lives are on the case. Turns out the world's not as big as you think, honey. And I know a lot of people in a lot of places, and so do my followers. And you guys have helped me connect with all the right people to get this situation taken care of in a safe and legal way so that, I don't have to deal with it. I can deal with this. Because I'm also dealing with moving. If I could flip this camera around, horror show. It's like the contagion is creeping. It's just like right here, like boxes and craziness. So if I'm not posting for the next day or two, it's because I am moving. I'm moving back to California for like a few weeks and then going someplace else. And I'm not going to tell you till I get there. But it's a big shift. It's a big old shift. So yes, Machine Gun Fox. Oh, but first, yes, if you guys have a love question of your own, you want to talk to me privately, find me on my website, shallonlester.com, and click Get Help. Also, if you want to book a cameo with me and do a video shout out that way, get a pep talk, have a question answered, send a message to a loved one, find me on there at ShallonXO, and head over to Instagram at ShallonXO to connect with me that way, to vote on the next video topic and stay up to date. Okay, so here's what we know. Megan Fox has been married to Brian Austin Green for 10 years. They got married in 2010, and Megan is 34 now. And it's like, she looks like she's 18 still. If you do it right, 34 can look like 24, and 44 will look measurably the same. If God has blessed you, and if you've blessed yourself with good sunblock, great. Not saying she hasn't had a few little touch-ups from doctors here and there, but I mean, she looks incredible. And she's been with Brian for so long. And her career, like as the amount of kids she had went up, her career went down. And we're going to break that down in a minute. We're just giving you the facts for now. So they have been married for 10 years and recently called it quits. They're separated. And almost immediately, she was spotted with Machine Gun Kelly. And like I said in the G-Eazy Ashley Benson video, man, girls fresh out of a relationship, they love those tall, skinny, pointy rappers, just pointy-faced. Because they are dynamic. They are the quintessential bad boy. If they're that tall and skinny, they've got an enormous eggplant. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. If you know, you know. And like I said, where Ashley, I think, is going to run into some trouble, I think Megan's doing it right. But let's go over the circumstances of this, because Brian Austin Green, who became famous from Beverly Hills 90210 and stayed famous because, oh wait, he didn't. He didn't really do any meaningful projects outside of that. Megan, however, her star was on the rise. And I think when her and Brian Austin Green got together, people were like, what? Because she could have any man on planet Earth, and probably most of the women too. She could have had me. Megan, I would have treated you right. And it was weird that she settled with him, at 24. Like, her star was taking off. Talk about the perky tit years. Perky tit years. And it was always like a very interesting thing. People didn't think it was going to last. And apparently, Megan didn't think it was going to last either. She tried to call off their engagement. He talked her back into it. Or no, she did call off their engagement. Then they got back together. They got married in that I think, Hawaiian ceremony or something. Then a few years ago, she filed for divorce. They got back together. I think they had another baby, and now they're off for good. What does this add up to? A woman who doesn't really want to be there. If you call off an engagement, now look, it can go one of two ways. Sometimes you rush into things, and then the reality of, hey, oh my God, we're about to enter into this life together. We need to pump the brakes. Okay. But the fact that then she filed for divorce and he kept getting her back, this also confirms what I have heard about this relationship, which was he started out as the one with the power. I don't know if she had like a childhood crush on him or something from the 90210 days, or she thought he was a mover and shaker in Hollywood. I'm not saying she didn't love him, but it just, again, it seems so strange that of all the men on planet Earth she could have had, aka every single one of them, she went with him. Now, I actually hung out with him at a party, a Maxim party, like 10 years ago. And he's handsome. He's striking. He was wearing black nail polish. I was like, oh, boo. I don't know about that. But he's not Megan Foxable. I don't know. Like, I was drunk and I'd be like, I'd do him. And I was like, oh, wait, that's Brian Austin Green. Oh my God. Wait. Now I don't know how I feel about that situation. Like, how can I reject him? Megan Fox thinks he's hot, so I gotta think he's hot. You know, it's like I was buying into the reputation. But yeah, I worked with Megan back when I was an editor at FHM magazine. So it was like it was like a long time ago. And that was her heyday, and that was her wheelhouse. FHM was like Maxim, like stuff like that, the Lad mag thing, and she was the queen of that. You know, that's where she got her start, and she was still getting her start kind of at that time. But on set, it's like I worked with models all the time. I would travel all over the world going to shoots and kind of like wrangling the models, and I was sort of like their mama. And, you know, I'd be like, does anyone need a tampon? And here, let me tuck your tag in. And I was like running interference if there were ever creepy photographers and stuff like that. So I got to work with a lot of those sort of like it girls. Did you ever read thedirty.com? Like all the dirty celebrities? Like I knew almost all of them just from like working with them in like the men's magazine space. Anyway, 99% of them are very, very sweet girls. A lot of them had drug problems. But Megan, she didn't ever have a drug problem that I saw. She was big for her britches. I'll put it that way. She was very aware of the power that she had and was very aware of where her career could and would go. And on one hand, it was nice to be around because she just projected this power, this like diva attitude that was like, I've got the biggest dick in this room, you just don't know it yet. I am an A-list celebrity, it just hasn't happened by today. You know, and it was inspiring to see someone who knew who they wanted to be. They knew where they wanted to take things. It was invigorating. On the flip side, it kind of made her difficult to work with. You know, she thought she knew everything. She was going to show up when she wanted to. I mean, she certainly wasn't the most difficult person I've ever worked with at all. Like, she was fine. But there was that element. There was a seed inside her that I was like, she's going to be a pill. Someday, not on my movie, she's going to be a pill. And that kind of is the reputation she ended up getting. Nice, talented, you know. She was never going to win an Oscar. She was never going to be the Meryl Streep, but a bit of a pill. Like, she would show up when she wanted to. She wasn't just going to be like Susie Sunshine and be super enthusiastic. And if she didn't feel like she was getting her propers and treated like the star she believed she was, you were going to hear about it. And Michael Bay, director of Transformers, heard about it. Here's a tip from Aunt Shallon. If you're going into Hollywood, don't compare your directors to Hitler or even Napoleon. Don't do that. She famously compared Michael Bay to Hitler, said she was like, he wanted to be the Napoleon and it was his own basically little kingdom and he was Hitler-like. And I'm like, oh, don't say that. Do you know why? Maybe, first of all, he's the goddamn director. It is his kingdom. It is his kingdom. You are a vassal in his serfdom, okay? Also, don't compare people to Hitler in Hollywood because a lot of people in Hollywood are of Jewish descent. It's kind of a word they don't like to hear a lot from a girl who's not Jewish. So that really kind of spelled doom. And you know what? every industry in the world is a small industry. I don't care if you work for the Coinstar machine company. I fucking love Coinstar machines. Or if you work for a magazine or you work in Hollywood, everyone in these little enclaves, they talk a lot. And so it's real easy to get a bad reputation in your industry, especially when you, a small fish, who a lot of people are drawing the conclusion, she's just a pretty face, whatever. Oh, she's not just, if only she was just a pretty face. She's a pretty face and a smart ass mouth. That's a bad combination to have. If you're going to be just a pretty face, you got to be a sweet face. You got to be Kate Upton. You know what I mean? So that kind of spelled doom for her career. After that, her career floundered. She made that unwatchable cesspool of a movie, Jonah Hex. She did Jennifer's Body, which was good, but it wasn't Transformers. And then, of course, came the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle debacle, also directed by Michael Bay. And there was like a rumor going around or a quote that was like, Michael Bay cast her in that just to prove that he's the only one who could give her a career. I mean, my God, talk about playing the long game, right? That's an evil genius, you know? I mean, smart man. So, in a way, when she met Brian Austin Green, I hate men who use 3 names. Just, if you like Austin so much, if you've got such a boner for your middle name, just make your first name be Austin Green or be Brian Austin. I'm Brian Austin Green. Okay, I'm Shallon Lester. Like, you get 2 names, Lee Harvey Oswald, enough. Only Martin Luther King Jr. He gets those names. He's retired it, and there's no more. Baloney. So I think that, like, this is what I've heard. Brian had a lot of jealousy because when they first met, he was the one with the power. He was the one with the clout in Hollywood. I can introduce you to this person and I can open these doors and everyone knows me and And then that shifted and then that became upside down. Suddenly she was the big star and he's like, he still has that voice like that. And he started doing things to subtly erode her standing in Hollywood. Do you ever have friends who you just can't trust their opinion? Like they are your friend, but then if you're like, how do I look in this? And they're like, oh, you look great. No, high-waisted, pleated, acid-washed rompers are you. Bitch, it's nobody's. And they're a friend, it's like, she's not telling me the truth. She's giving me bad advice. Why did she tell me to call that fuckboy 15 times when I was drunk? That was bad advice. Why'd she tell me that was okay? That's kind of how he is. Oh no, you stand up to Michael Bay. You stand up to Michael Bay. You do not stand up to Michael Bay, honey. Oh no, you should do this. You should do that. And this coincided with her having a lot of kids. We've talked before about this sort of control element with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, that while they might have met when, you know, their careers were sort of not equal, like he was always the bigger star, but she was certainly a star in her own right, his way of control and keeping her at home was to give her a bunch of kids. Not that she didn't want them, and, you know, but there was maybe a subtext there that like, no. He was going to be the one in the driver's seat. He was going to be the one with the career. And at the end of the day, she's mom and mama takes care of the kids. And maybe that was the case here with Brian Austin Green. Like he kept her kind of barefoot and pregnant for a little while. And notice when she filed for divorce, they got back together and boom, they had another baby. And I had always heard that was a bonus baby, that was an oops baby. Not that, you know, again, not that people don't love an oops baby. 99% of people are oops babies, but I just think it's indicative of their dynamic. Very, very interesting. Then she finally pulls the trigger. She's over it. She's trying to get back on top. She's trying to get back out there. She does a video with Machine Gun Kelly called My Bloody Valentine, which sounds like a bad Blink-182 song. He's moving into this pop punk space, which cool. I love pop punk. I grew up in SoCal. But you kind of gotta be able to sing. And I love him though. I would 100% do him. 100%. But like from afar. If we could have like distanced sex, I don't know. I haven't really thought this through. So we talked again yesterday about with the Ashley Benson G-Eazy thing, how when people collaborate on something, it's like this synergistic and the creative juices are flowing, all the juices are flowing, do you know what I mean? And it's very easy to fall in love on set, or at the very least, fall in lust. And it's a truism in Hollywood that musical dudes cast chicks in their videos, celebrity chicks, that they want to get with. Enrique Iglesias was the king of this. I mean, he pioneered this. Ooh, I busted on out. He pioneered this in such a big way. He boned every girl who was in his music videos. And he married one of them. He married Anna Kournikova. And I'm like, oh, dude, who wouldn't? Wouldn't we all do this? If we could have any celebrity, like, in our music video, would you not just be like, send me a Mendes, send me a Cameron Dallas? I don't know why I said Cameron Dallas. He's such a doof. But, you know, like, if you had that sword to wield, you would. And I think he's always had a crush on Megan Fox, heard that things were on the rocks, or maybe he didn't hear things were on the rocks. He's like, I'm going to pull that bitch away from her man. Machine Gun Kelly is one of those dudes who can have almost anyone at this point, and I think he likes a bit of a challenge. I would not be surprised if he laid it on thick with Sandra Bullock when they were in Bird Box together. I mean, I'm not saying she gave in, but I bet he turned that charm all the way up to 10 for her. 100%. Sandra Bullock's like the dream girl. She is. Like, every guy I date is like obsessed with her. And like, they're not her age. They're younger. MGK is what, 30, 31? He always seems so much younger because he's immature. So we've got Brian Austin Green, who represents control, boredom, a relationship that maybe she wasn't super into from the get-go. Maybe she stayed because of the kids, maybe blah, 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 blah. Maybe she knew she couldn't leave. You know, things are drying up on her own. Who's going to want me? There could be a lot going on there. But whatever was going on with Brian Austin Green, I believe he represented, and she felt very whatever-ish about it. Very over it. I love you. You're my best friend, but I just... Ugh. And then you have Machine Gun Kelly, who plucked her out of the Hollywood stratosphere. Could have been any. Could have been a woman 12, 15 years younger that he cast in this video. No, I wanted Megan Fox. And we think like, well, no shit, he wanted Megan Fox. Everyone wants Megan Fox. Everyone probably wants you too, baby girl, right? Everyone wants me. Everyone wants all of us. We don't always see ourselves how the world sees us. We don't see our gifts and our talents the way that everyone else does. We are the ones cutting ourselves down, telling ourselves nobody wants us, we're undesirable, I can't leave this relationship, no one else is going to want me. That's not true. But when you're in a long-term relationship, it starts to feel true. You're just so rusty at the dating scene that some dude comes along who's really pursuing you, paying you a lot of attention, hyping you up in the way you need to be hyped up, and you're like, oh, lamb to a slaughter. But here's why I think Megan's got a better shot of getting out of this without catching a ton of feelings and being really upset, because she is, I believe, over bag Brian Austin Green. Austin Green Brian. I believe she's so fucking done with that relationship that she's hitting the ground running. It's interesting how the people we can't get over are never the ones we dated for the longest. Never. In fact, it's almost an inverse relationship. We can't move on from the people we didn't really date at all because they live almost in fantasy. It's all projection. It's all possibility. And how do you get over a fantasy? Because fantasies are perfect. You're with a motherfucker for 10 years. You know everything there is to know. There is no more fantasy. There is no more possibility. You know everything about him. Whether or not he leaves just like 2 seconds left on the microwave instead of just clearing it, and you just want to... So I think she is so washed her hands of that and has so made peace with it. Also because she's tried to get out of this relationship multiple times before. And she's realizing that, hey, I'm 34. I'm not 74. I've got a lot of perky tit years left. She looks fucking incredible. Her body is unreal. 3 kids? Are we sure? Where did she acquire those kids? I can't believe she acquired them from her own body. It's crazy. And so I think she's coming out of this really in a renaissance for herself and ready to hit the ground running, or ready to hit the ground on her back. Girl, get it. You've got 10 years to make up for of hoeing around. So here's how... Oh, wait. I have to read you what Brian Austin Green tweeted. And if you were ever maybe on the side of, ew, she shouldn't be dating MGK, let me just tell you the alternative right now. His, gross. He's so... Oh, so he posted a picture of a butterfly. Maybe he tweeted it. I don't know. But it's... And his username is, aren't you that guy? Which is like funny and self-aware. But Eventually, butterflies get bored sitting on a flower for too long. They start feeling smothered. It's a great big world and they want to experience it. I would never let someone touch me with the same fingers who tweeted that. I couldn't do it. Brian Austin Green has made a statement that like, oh, Megan and MGK, they're just friends. Like, ooh, is there anything more embarrassing than being the last to know or being so in denial you make a statement about two people's love lives you're not involved in? You look like a cuck. That's like a cuckold, you know, like it's not a good look. And it's like, bro, if you're trying to get her back, it could not be a worse strategy. She is looking at you as not super strong, little on the beta side with a statement like that. Also, do we think Machine Gun Kelly has a lot of just female friends who look like Megan Fox? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. That boy bones everything he possibly can. Do you know what I heard? I heard that one time he had sex with a watermelon because he had to have sex so bad that like that's his hangover cure. He like wakes up, throws up, fucks, goes to the bathroom, shower. Ugh, it's just like this gross, weird like checklist he goes through and he's like, I need to fuck. And there was no female orifice, so he had sex with a watermelon. On one hand, 10 points for ingenuity. On the other, minus 20 points for not realizing you have two hands. Try it. So MGK does not seem like the kind of dude who keeps a woman around that he's not having relations with. It's crazy. But again, I think Megan is going to come out of this okay because I think she is aware of what the reality is with Brian Austin Green, and I believe she's aware of the reality of what MGK is. But you know what? Maybe not. And here's where the rest of us get into trouble. When we leave someone, we do massive overcorrections. Massive overcorrections. You dated someone that's boring, so you want to date someone that is so stimulating that you're just like a otter playing with a rock, just rubbing it around. Because you want what you've been missing. But then after that fizzles out, you're like, okay, I don't want someone that stimulating. It's not all about the sex now. Maybe I want someone really smart. Okay, maybe I want someone this and that. This is life. This is data collection. And that's okay. Like, we need to be out here collecting data. So the best kind of data collection, though, in terms of an emotional standpoint, doesn't come retroactively. You know, we talked about those autopsies before, like, we have to throw open the curtain and really look at what went wrong in a relationship, what we were missing, what got under our skin, so that we try to limit this overcorrection in impulse in a healthier way. Okay, I was really bored with Bag, so I want someone who's going to be interesting. MGK is definitely interesting, but maybe we're going to dial it down. So we're not going to go MGK level. We're going to go like MGK -2, you know, so that I still get a little stimulation, but not in this love bombing, crazy trauma bonding, toxic kind of way. All right. A correction doesn't always have to be an overcorrection. And you can, like I said, you can limit that and you can avoid that fallout by just a little bit of self-awareness. Truly sitting for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I mean, like, here's what I don't like about my current relationship. Beep, bop, boop, boop. The relationship I'm getting out of. Or maybe you just got dumped and this wasn't your choice. Be real with yourself. What did I not like about this relationship? And then pretend that you're taking those traits and you're creating a whole new person based on the inverse of those traits. He was boring. He was predictable. I wasn't sexually attracted to him. All right. Write down the opposite. He was incredibly unpredictable. I couldn't wait to have sex with him. And he was just so overstimulating and so over the top. I never knew what was going to happen again. And think about what kind of person that's going to look like. And then think about the negative qualities that might come along with that person. Okay, if I never know what's going to happen next, he's not going to be very stable. He's probably not going to be very reliable. He's probably going to make me feel crazy. I'm probably going to end up feeling humiliated because I'm going to chase him. Now you have a profile. Now you have a what not to seek. You know, when there's like a crime and the cops are like, we're going to do a police sketch and here's a vague outline of who we're looking for. You want your own sort of emotional police sketch for what to look for when you get back out into the dating scene. So that you can hold it up and be like, you look a lot like this sketch. You look a lot like this sketch. I don't think so, not today. You look too much like this sketch. Or you start to feel, it's like, okay, I'm feeling 1, 2, 3. I'm feeling like I got hot pants for this dude. I'm feeling like he's really unpredictable. And then I bet on the other side of this, because I already did that work and I already wrote it down on a piece of paper, that after this, I'm going to start to feel crazy. After this, I'm going to start to feel unloved. I'm going to feel lonely and miss my ex. And maybe I don't want to do that. So I'm going to crumple this up and I'm going to start over. I'm going to go for something that's not quite this intense, that's not quite this much of an overcorrection, right? Hopefully Megan's doing that. But like I said, I think she's going to come out of this less crazed and feelings catchy because she is ready to date. She's not latching onto MGK as like, you have to save me from my unhappiness. You have to save me from my loneliness, where I believe maybe Ashley Benson is doing that, because I don't think she anticipated Kara and her breaking up. And so I think her heart is broken. I don't think Megan's heart is broken in the same way. I mean, everyone's heart is broken when they get a divorce, of course, or get out of a long relationship. But the difference is, like, I knew that this had to end. I'm sad about it, but it's sad, but it's not tragic. Ashley might be looking at the Kara situation being like, it's tragic. And when we feel like we're in a tragedy, we're looking for a savior, you know? And that's a very, very dangerous standpoint to come from when you're dating. Another thing you want to do, hoe around. Hoe around. You're going to hoe, you hoe, okay? This isn't Bush League hoeing. This is pro. You want to hoe? You pro. Have hoes in different area codes. Don't just have the MGK. Have the MGK. Have the G-Eazy. Have the Pete Davidson. Not Pete Davidson. But like, have a melange of fuckboys so that you don't get overly twisted and invested in any of them. And then you can also start to see patterns. Okay, every guy I'm going for is like super, super stimulating. And I'm actually not super happy with how any of these things are going. So maybe we're going to log that data point. Maybe just going for a guy who represents exactly the opposite of what my ex was is going to create problems in the long run. So we're going to make a bit of a correction. It's all just about self-awareness. I saw a quote on Instagram: no one ever died from a feeling, but many people die trying to avoid feeling their feelings. I was like, that's so true, right? That's so true. And no, none of these things are probably going to kill you. Dating MGK won't kill you unless you sleep without a condom. Wrap it up, ladies. If you're going to be a groupie, wrap it up. But we can suffer emotional deaths and we can feel like we're dying because we're avoiding feelings to begin with. And so we layer things on top of that. We do that wallpapering and it just comes out lumpy and warped and weird. But we can avoid it. And that's what we do here. We look things in the face. I want to know if you think MGK and Megan Fox are like a match made in like trash heaven. She's not trashy. He's not either. I don't know. Oh, he's so cute. I think he's not cute though. He's just pointy. Why do I love a pointy man? It's like I should just be dating chickens. Man. Let me know your thoughts. Click like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more videos. We're going to be covering the Call Her Daddy saga. Mary-Kate, I almost said Mary-Kate and Ashley's divorce. They're not divorcing each other, but they're just a package deal, I guess. But like I said, give me a day or two if I'm moving and I can't get to all this right away, but I will be back for you guys. And follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO. See you later, Shalloners.